Hey guys, welcome to this, I guess, how I make reviews video. So we can go ahead and just get started right away. So one of the first things that I do is I actually have a calendar ready to go, so I know what it is that I'm reviewing or what it is that that I might want to look out for. So for example, you guys are gonna get a sneak peek at what I'm thinking this is gonna go like. But for August, this is what I have right here. I like to do it on these dry erase things because I can change everything, so nothing is set in stone. I don't like to keep everything, strict. I do like to have things organized, but as far as like keeping it strict to how it is, I'm always changing things around. So for example, I have Masters of the Universe month for August because we got PowerCon. So all my Tuesday videos are all Masters stuff. But I'm always taking pictures of my calendars, and if you look at an earlier version of August, it's very different. It's like only 2 or 3 Masters reviews, and everything was just mixed up all over the place. But this is kind of what I have here. I just put some notes, on stuff that I need to work on, stuff that's coming out in blue or that I need to get. So like I need to get the Lightning Collection, Green Ranger Putty, and then my PowerCon tickets. And then of course in red I have PowerCon. The update is going to be coming out on the 4th, which by this video I think it's already been out. And then when I'm supposed to be putting out my questions video. So I have that, and then of course I kind of found something conflicting with the Green Ranger and Putty. So when it comes to GameStop, it says that it'll be released on the 1st. So that would be on the 2nd, which is on Friday. So then I have Saturday videos for the Green Ranger and for the Putty. But then again, when I went to Best Buy, it said that it would be released on the 28th. So I might do a video there. And then of course we have the Friday videos, the core videos. But for this one, I'm gonna end up moving 2 core videos to the next month and doing the Green Ranger and the Putty in place of those, just so I don't get overwhelmed with videos. And then of course I have September over here, which has a bunch of mixed up stuff right now, and then I have October, so I'm already ahead 2 months on what I want to do, and that way I can also kind of keep track of. Right here we have on the 10th we got Voltron's 35th anniversary, so I have to do a Voltron video for that, so I have that marked up. And also I got some pre-orders that I gotta do, and also releases, so that way I kind of keep myself organized in what I'm gonna take care of, which is really nice. Before I would try to make these digitally and it just wasn't working because I'd have to go back in and change things, and I'm always changing it. But having these really helps me out a lot, and I love seeing what's coming up. So you can see right here these check marks. Those are for videos that are already completed. They're already uploaded, they're ready to go. So if it has a check mark, like the Cyclops Repair, Slam Dance, Castle Grayskull, and the Cores ATK, it already has a check mark, which means that's ready to go. Time to move on to the next one, which I'm writing the script for Green Ranger and the Putty, and then I also have the review for Plague. So I would write the script for Plague next, or make sure that I'm ready to record it by that time. And then of course I got my little moving turtle to show what date it is, so you could tell that as of this recording it's July 30th. Just in case if I'm doing shots that's anywhere near something else that I'm doing, so like the Tommy White Ranger, I already have a lot of the shots from the previous review, but what if I want to get more shots? When I'm doing the Green Ranger, I could just easily pop out Tommy and then do more shots with him, or I can also see if I have any other reviews already written out. Like I think I have the Scavenge Predator review for the 13th of September. So, you know, if I already have it written out, I don't have to write it again, but I know that, okay, I have to get the shots for that. And some of it, I just kind of keep it in my head on how I'm gonna be doing that. So yeah, so that's my calendar. There's a lot to say about it, but I love these things. These things are awesome. And if you want to, you know, if you want to keep everything kind of legit or whatever, I think these are a great way to go. Is just, you know, get a whiteboard. You don't have to get all three, you know, just get the one, and then just lay out your month, and you can change things around. That way you can anticipate what's coming up. Okay, and then we have my scripts. So I do my scripting on my phone. So I just go on Notes. I have an iPhone, so I go on Notes, and then I just start typing. Before I used to do it on Word on a computer, but when I went to the hospital and I was finally able to pick up my phone, one of the first things I did, besides, you know, communicate to everyone like, hey, I'm alright, I'm back up or whatever, one of the first things I did after that was write reviews. So I had my mom bring me a tote of the Aliens and Predators action figures with me, and that way I can review those. So as I'm sitting there in bed, you know, I found the comics and everything, and I wrote all of them. I don't know if you can kind of see there, but I would start writing on my phone. And I think that's a great idea, mainly because you could be anywhere and write your reviews. You can write your scripts. So like I could be at work, and then when I'm on my break, I just write a few lines on here, whatever it is I'm thinking. I might take an extra minute or so, or sometimes I might just end it short because I don't know what else to put on there at that time. But yeah, I type up my review on my phone. That way I always have it with me. And then, you know, if I'm taking photos, I have the review with me. When I'm writing, I just pull out this little thing, and it's just, you know, you're just sliding through it. Instead of before, when I would do my scripts, I would print them out on paper, and then I'd have to change the page every time, and it would be on the mic, and then I'd have to cut that whenever I did all the sound recording. So yeah, so I do all my scripting on my phone now, just because I can do that. Once I'm done recording it or whatever, I go ahead and email it to myself. That way I have it, I guess, in storage, and then I take that and put it into like a flash drive or whatever. So yep, I write my scripts on my phone, so that way I can do it anywhere I want. So the microphone that I use is Zing U, and I don't really know what model this is, but this is what I've been using lately. Of course, it has like the little cover on it, and this actually has a thing called a phantom power. So the other side of this cord is like a regular audio jack, but it doesn't really feed it power, so you need that little USB connection. It's basically like a USB, and then it has the two audio jacks on it, and then you plug this into that, and then it feeds power to the microphone, so then you can start recording it. This isn't really an expensive microphone. This was actually given to me for Christmas 2018. It's okay. You know, it's not the best or anything, but it does its job. So before this microphone, I was actually using a smaller microphone, and that's for my even older videos. But comparing the two, the quality between this one and the other one, this one's a little bit better. Of course, I would like to use something else eventually, but for now, this is pretty good for what it is. And but when my microphones went down for a bit, the one I was using was just from headphones, like the little mini mic. I would just kind of hold it out, and I would speak into that. But that's the microphone that I was using when I had a couple of complaints about a high-pitched sound coming out of the videos. So luckily I was able to get that, this fixed, or else my only other solution at that point would be to talk right into my computer. So that, I don't think that would have worked out very well. But yeah, this is the microphone I use. I use GarageBand to record, and I don't really do anything. All I really do is change the... I go to podcast, I choose a podcast on GarageBand, and then when it's all set, you just go to the information and audio on the top, and then from there, I just go to no effects on it, because I think it's set up for male, like a male voice recording, and it kind of gives a little bit of an echo, so I just go to no effects, and then I press R, which is record, and just record, and that's it, and you're all done. So, yeah, it's really simple, and then I just save my audio recording, and that's it. I always thought Stinkor looked cool. I didn't know anything about him, just that he looked like a skunk. In later years, I watched a few reviews, and all they said was that he had a smell to him. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Masters of the Universe Stinkor, and stay tuned for more Masters reviews. And that's it. That's basically how I do all my voiceovers. Okay, so this is the camera that I use. It's not the best, but it does get the job done. It's a Panasonic Panasonic HC-V180. So this is what I use, and I like it a lot because it does have the whole screen on it, so you can pop out the screen, and then you can also have it have the screen turn around. Sorry, it's kind of hard, just one hand, but you can also have the screen turn right around. Of course, maybe you're zooming in and out on there. So I like this camera. I had one of these before, and it fell in the pond, and as soon as it dropped in, that was it. It was done, and there's no way it was coming back. So that's what I use as my normal camera. It's pretty good. I use SD cards. The SD cards are, you can put the SD card right there in the bottom. So that's pretty good. And this is the main tripod that I use. It's nothing really special, and here is the mount that I use with it. So that just kind of clips on there, just like that. You know, nothing too special, just a regular, typical tripod that you can get like at Best Buy or whatever. So I don't always have it completely up. Like right now, I only have this part of the legs, but you can see there, they can actually have it go even longer, just in case you need it. Plus the neck moves up higher. So that is the tripod that I use. It's also really helpful for when I need to use this thing, because this will fit right in there. So that'll fit right in there, but instead of twisting it on that way, I actually have to turn this thing here. So this just kind of pops out like that. You turn it, and that turns that part, so that way I can attach the cell phone attachment. So yeah, so that's what I use for a tripod. Nothing special. Okay, so I use different types of cameras for all my stuff. Like I already mentioned earlier, I use my iPhone 7, so it's older, but it still does the job just fine. So I'm using my iPhone 7 for that. For underwater shots, I do have this small Kodak. I actually got it for free a while ago, maybe like 7 years ago, from Old Navy. It was like a giveaway for Black Friday. But it's an Easy Share Sport C123. So that's what I use for my underwater shots, is this one. You can also get a GoPro or whatever. The only thing I don't like about this is that when I do video with this thing, it actually brings everything closer. So I would have to go further away, and since I'm working on the pond, I'm usually filming in the pond with all the fish. Trying to get the fish in the background is kind of tough because they're kind of scared. But anyway, with this thing, I have to also go further away from the camera, and it's kind of hard when you can't see what you're doing. So so I do have some problems with this. I just basically just hope that everything is in frame whenever I do this. I try to get up close to the camera, and then I move away, so that way I know that I'm kind of like where the shot is going to be, and just hope and pray that it comes out. So that's this thing right here. The underwater shots usually come out all right. And then I also have a small tripod. Mine is broken, so I put a little bit of glue on there, but it just basically makes it tight, so at least it holds into place. And this is what I like to use mainly for photos. If I'm doing photos in one spot, and just move the figure over for like my booth shots and all that. And then I also have this cell phone cradle here. You put the cell phone right there in between, and then you shoot. So this right here, it actually connects onto the top of this one, or on my regular tripod onto the connector. So, and we also have a lot of planes around here. We have an airport, a small airport nearby. So that's one thing I always have to worry about whenever I do the audio. But anyway, so I use these, which I'm actually going to be using this to get a few, to get some different shots from the smoke that we're going to use on Stinkor. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. Okay, so from here I try to find a location to see where I'm going to do a lot of shooting. I don't want anywhere where there's a lot of light or a lot of sun, because then that just washes out everything. It makes everything so bright. I mean, look at this side over here. It's so bright. It's also the summer, so it's going to be really bright out here in San Diego. So I basically just take a look at my backyard here, and I try to find a place where everything will look pretty cool, nice. You know, I try to think of what kind of figure this is. So skunk, so it's gonna be like a foresty type thing. So it's gonna have to be in the plants somewhere. So usually one of my favorite spots to record is gonna be right here, where that you know, that rocky planter is, next to my toy shed. So yes, that's my toy shed right there. So I also like to shoot over here on this side, but it's you know, over the months it's really grown out a lot. But that's where I shoot a lot of the stuff for the core. Is usually on this side. Along the rocks right there is where I shoot a lot of. I shot a lot of the Mega Man stuff, and even like Primal Clash and Predator get shot there. That's where I've been shooting a lot of my Master stuff. And right there you can see where that round planter made out of bricks is. That's where I have Castle Grayskull. So I always thought it was cool that it had a rock backing on it. And then if we go right over here is the pond, and this is where I do a lot of my my water shots, is on the pond. So usually I get there, or I go on this side over here. This is where I shot some of the Power Ranger stuff, is on this side. So I had to find somewhere to record all the Stinkor stuff, and I have a feeling I'm going to be going back to that area right there. So I'll shoot a lot of the stuff here. I also like to use this plant right here. This weird looking futuristic tree is cool. So yeah, and I've shot some core stuff back here before, right in there. That's where I shot some of the animal ambush stuff. So this stuff is all really cool, but of course I have all these plants, so that's not really gonna work out. So I have a feeling I'm gonna have to work it right here. But then again, I got some flowers, and of course with Stinkor we can't really have flowers. So no flowers for Stinkor, since it's his review. Just can't do it. Maybe it'll be right here in this little corner. I'll just be moving that little decoration there. Maybe those, you know, that little mushroom and the pot, and also this stick right here. I'm gonna have to move all that and shoot right there. Okay, so I have the script all written out. It's right here on my phone, and that'll kind of give me some cues on what I need. But most of the time, you know, I read the script over if I've written it ahead of time, or if I have just written it, I kind of have in my head what I'm talking about. So I like to just go out and take the photos and do the video So both of those I use different cameras. So of course for video I use the camera that I'm using right now to record me, and for all my photos I also use my phone. So I think it's good enough. I don't really need a DSLR for it. You know, it's really compact, it's really small, so you can just, you know, go and, you know, do some lower shots and everything and all that kind of stuff, because if you think about it, everything we're working on is small. It's like miniatures, so you're gonna need a small camera. And just keep in mind that you know, you can either have like a higher shot, or if you need a really low shot, you just turn it around and, you know, you get the lower shot on the bottom, and you get basically like from the feet up. So that's pretty cool. I really like that about this. You can change where you have the lens at, so you can go even lower than like a DSLR. So I like to use this. That also gives me a chance to have the photos on my phone, so I can actually put them on Instagram. So if there's a photo that I didn't use, or a photo that I'm really impressed with, I try to post that on Instagram most of the time. It happens every time, but I try to. That's why I like using this. So before we go on out, we're doing Stinkor, so we have to get the Stinkor figure and anything else. So I know I mentioned Merman on there and Mechanex, so I'm gonna need those two guys in order to get this review. Oh, and then also the Castle Grayskull shield. So let's go ahead and grab that stuff, and then we can go and take the photos and the footage and all that. Okay, so I keep all of my Masters figures in this tub, and you can see we already have Stinkor up in the top. He's one of my favorites, so I like to take him. I'm going to go ahead and also take Mossman here, just because I know he gets mentioned in the comic. Let's see. I mentioned Merman. There's Merman right there. And these are actually my complete figures, except for Faker here. I love Faker, so he's the only one that's not complete in this box. And I think that is all I need from this one. The only other one I need now is going to be Battle Armor He-Man. So this is where I keep my other Masters figures, is in this this gray tote. I took it out because I knew that I was going to be doing a lot of Masters stuff. So yeah, I needed the tote out of here, or out here. And then I have the green tote at the bottom. That would be Turtle stuff. So I took that out when I was doing more Technodrome files, and I still plan on doing it. So I have Turtle stuff down there as well. So let's see. I have anything that's like Masters related or whatever in here. Even like the you know, the Mega Construct stuff, and the Primal Age is in here. I've got that's my only one of these that I have. So that's pretty cool. I got that at PowerCon 2018. Let's see. I need Battle Armor He-Man, which is in here somewhere. There he is. Cool. Battle Armor He-Man. I like to try whenever I can to put away my stuff, just because it makes less clutter when you kind of work on things. So that way, you know, you get a nicer atmosphere to work in. So that's just my thing. You know, I might have some clutter, but at least it's not all over the place. Okay, so I have all the figures ready to go, and of course there's Stinkor, and I just thought about this. I thought it might be kind of cool, but I actually have some of these smoke bombs here. I have a purple one, which is the one I'm probably going to use for the stink. So I'm going to give that a shot. I think I have like 3 of them, so I'll do one, and it'll be just photos, and then I'll do the other one, and it'll be video. So we'll see how that turns out. But basically, I would just do just a basic first shot of Stinkor here. You want to make sure that your lens is clean.
I didn't catch that.
So you want to make sure that your lens is clean. Now just remember that every time you take shots, everything doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle. You can actually be kind of off to the side, and it gives it a much better composition. So you get a better, you know, it just looks more dynamic. You know, it looks like you can see the rest of the scene. So don't be afraid to not be dead center on your photos. you know, also use some foreground or whatever. But as you'll see with those shots, kind of went around the figure, and the figure just stayed where he is, and you get a different feeling from him with every shot. After I get the initial shots of just the figure alone, I can start trying to mess around with it. So I do mention in the review how he has the armor of Mechanic, the shield from Castle Grayskull, and the whole body is Merman. So I'm going to take a photo of him with his counterparts. And since this is just a kind of a reference shot, and you don't have to do anything special with it, you could just do the dead-on shot, and, you know, it'll get your point across. Now with my camera, whenever I take a photo, it actually doesn't even fill up the whole screen. It doesn't fill up the whole screen, so I always have to try to shoot a little bit further away. That way, I can crop down to it, and you won't see the two black bars on the side. So I always shoot a little bit further away, and then when I do the editing, I just edit it closer, and then you'll get a full frame shot, and you won't be able to cut that out. Of course, you can't always help it, like with Castle Grayskull or bigger things, but it is good practice to try to get these shots from further away. Okay, so now that I got those initial shots, I do want to get a little bit more creative with the next part. So now I'll start posing Stinkor, and I won't be using Merman or Mechanic anymore, but I can still use He-Man, or I can also use Mossman. So I think I'm going to do some solo shots first, and then I'll do some shots with his adversaries. And once you think you have good enough photos for one pose, then you can go ahead, move to another one, and repeat all those steps. Alright, so now that I got all of my basic shots that I'm probably going to need, I can always come back and shoot some more afterwards if I do forget something. But again, that's why we also have the script, so that way we can take a look at what else we have. But now that I've taken all the all the basic shots, now I'm going to go ahead and try doing these action shots with the smoke bomb. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now I have the camera in place. You can see it's on the rocks, and you kind of have to mess around a little bit with the legs, but we got the camera in place. There's Stinkor, and then behind him we have that bomb. So we're gonna go ahead and try to get that stink effect. Make sure that the camera is on record. So we'll go ahead and do that now. And we're not really doing any audio, so it's okay that the planes are moving around. Everything looks good. So maybe I can add a little bit of extra flavor here. No, it's gonna cover up the lens. All right, well, I mean, don't be afraid to try stuff like that in front of the camera and whatnot. All right, well, here we go. All right, Stinkor, do your thing. All right, Stinkor, do your thing. Okay, well that was kind of cool. I didn't like that it was kind of shooting off to the side, but hey, at least we got a shot. So I'm going to try it again, but this time we're just going to do photos, and for that I'll be using my phone here to do that. Okay, so I have the camera ready again in a different position, so that is what that'll look like right there. I know it's a lot of glare, sorry guys. But then we have Stinkor, and this time I have placed the bomb so it's facing outwards the other way, so hopefully it'll blow back the smoke. And
I don't know, maybe we can get Stinkor covered up in smoke. So I might move it up a little bit more, but this time I'm going to be doing photos. Okay, well, that last one didn't go as well as I wanted it to. And again, remember when I said make sure that the camera is recording, the camera was not recording. So lucky for me though, I looked in my bag of these things and I have 3 more left. So there's one, there's another one in my hand, and then I already have one set up. This time, I'm just gonna go ahead and have it straight up again. So I'm gonna wait till the wind dies down a little bit and then we'll give it another shot. All right, I think I got what I needed from that. So we had this smoke go straight up. I had the camera rolling the whole time. Hopefully I didn't get in front of the camera, but that's okay. I mean, we'll see. I already took another shot with just recording it. So I think for now we're done with all the shots for Stinkor outside. I'm probably gonna just do a couple of shots with Stinkor doing his power punch. And I think that's it. I think that's all we need is just the power punch. Oh, and then the articulation and also squeezing the head because it has a soft head. So I'll be taking care of that and we'll move along.
Okay, so this is my photo booth right here. This is where I would do a lot of the shots for the, for articulation, or if I just need something with a white background. All this is just white paper here, and then on the sides I have canvas, but it can be paper as well. I like to use paper just because it's cheap, and I mean I just keep getting more pieces, so when this looks really messed up, I just replace it with another piece of paper. Now for the lights, you can see right here on these I have these are little pieces of tape that have metal on them, and those come with these lights here, which are magnetic. It has magnets right there. So these 2 pieces of tape, they come with these lights, and all they do is just attach there. And then you can kind of see, I've actually put it behind the paper, but I've used it so much that it's coming through. So I just kind of attach it there, and attach the other one on the other side, and you can put it however you like. I actually put this little googly eye here because I like to have the on button on that side, so that just kind of reminds me of where I feel the most comfortable, so I like to have it on that side right there. Now since the Masters of the Universe videos, I'm not going to do any booth shots. I'm mainly going to do all those outside, so I'm going to go ahead and do this with Plague here. So I'm going to see the difference with light and without light. Okay, so I'm just going to position the camera the way I usually would. So I don't want to really see these, but I don't know, you've noticed these things here on the side on some of my videos. That's mainly when I can't help it, but I usually try not to get those sides in there. So I'll just kind of have it like that, and there is right there Plague without any light. And these lights have 3 settings. As soon as I turn them on, it's going to be in the highest setting, so you can already see the lights improving everything. Sometimes you have to pull it back, and that's what I mean is if the light is not, if the figure is too far forward, the light is not gonna fill in any of the shadows, so it's gonna be a little bit darker, but you can see how nice everything turned around the figure on the white parts. If you want to make it a little bit brighter, you can always do that through the editing. Of course, well, what my photo instructors have always said is you want to start off with a good negative or just a good foundation and then build from there. So I also like to use the lights to use the camera. So that's the phone, and of course I'll just take all my photos with the phone. Now, one reason I also like to take photos that I could use at a later time is because using photos will cut down on how big the file is going to be. So since you're using photos and you're not using video, so that can really help out with that. And also it keeps it from having some shake on the camera, or even sometimes the footage could be a little grainy, so you definitely don't want any of that if you can avoid it. Of course, sometimes my videos turn out like that, but if you do have the opportunity to avoid it, I would definitely suggest just getting good lighting. So good lighting really helps with both the photos and with video. So you want to get good lighting. Of course, you know, make sure your camera's good. You don't want to have any backlighting, because when you do backlighting, you get that. So you don't want to get any backlighting, because then you'll get silhouettes, and definitely don't want that. We want to just concentrate on whatever it is that you're reviewing. Now, since I do scripting with my videos, I really can have anything playing in the background if I want to, or I could just be talking, making some notes or anything like that, but I always like to just do the voiceovers. I just think I have better control over that than if it was on the video, because then the program that I use, which is iMovie, I would have to import the video, and then I'd have to import it a second time. But then if you move the file underneath the video file, it turns it into audio, and then you have to sync it up at that point. So I like to work off of the audio, and you'll be seeing that when I show you guys the ending. Okay, and then here is the 3 different settings. So that would be the second highest, and then of course the lowest setting. And then off. Okay, so now we're done with all the photos and the video. So now I'm just going to go ahead and upload them. And when I do that, I actually make several folders for that sort of thing. So I'll show you what I do. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and grab all the photos that I did for Stinkor here. And I'm going to go ahead and put them in this folder called Stinkor. Okay, so from here, you can see we have Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, and channel stuff. In channel stuff, I basically just have any intros or stuff like that. And then we have, for Season 3, that's where we're at right now, we got Season 3 stuff, we got edit, which are videos to edit, and videos to complete, which means I have something done for them, but not really enough to just edit. And then we have all these other videos that have been released or still working on to release, like this Smash one actually needs to go back into edit because I'm not ready to do that one yet. I actually moved that, so it won't be done in August, unfortunately. But here we go right here, Castle Replay Skull. Click on that, and then right here you can see I have the mini comics. I have just other random master stuff, and then we have all the figures that we'll be seeing here soon. So there's He-Man right there, that's completed. Castle Grayskull is completed, and we got Stinkor. So you can see right here is all the photos for Stinkor, and then I'm going to go ahead and also drag all the videos that we did with the video camera for Stinkor. Now, it's inside of each folder, I like to do this. I have another folder called Photo, and then one called Video, and then this one that says Transformers, that's actually just the audio for Stinkor. But I like to grab everything that's a video and put it into the video folder. All the photos are going to go into the photo folder. It's pretty self-explanatory.
And then once we go into the photo folder, I have even more folders in that to keep myself organized. So all these photos that I just put in here are all the ones that we shot that have that were done outside. So I call those environmental photos. So I go ahead and put all these photos into environmental. I also have one that has the comic. So you can see right there, that would be the comic that I'm going to be chopping up and putting into the video. And then we have this other one called Other. And this one that has Other is going to be other stuff that I don't have that I had to get online, kind of like the back of the packaging for Stinkor. So that's where that's what Other is. And then in other ones, in other folders, I do like to have one that says Booth on top of environmental. So for example, if we go to the core new recruits, we have all the core stuff right here. So we'll go ahead and do the, let's just do Shinobi Squad, and we'll do Rain. So we have photo, video, and then this is all stuff that I use. So that's the audio for Rain 1 and 2. Here's the screenshot. So that's the thumbnail that I made. And then, of course, we have the full video right there ready to go. But if we go into photo, we have one that says bio. So that's going to be the bio stuff. And then we have one that says booth. And these are all going to be all the photos that I do in the booth. And then we have the environmental shots right there. So those are all the outside shots. And of course we have one that says other, that has other stuff that was used in the video or that I might want to use later on in the video or something. Then of course I just have some extra stuff in there just because. So that's basically how I organize all my videos. I have, if it's going to be a several series, I have, for example, new recruit, the core new recruits, all the stuff for the core Shinobi Squad, you know, all the teams. The teams go into each figure, and then each figure has a photo and a video folder, and then that breaks down into booth, environmental, and other. So I didn't use any other video for Rain, so that's why I don't have a folder that says other on there, but you guys get the gist. Okay, so now we're on to editing. So I am using iMovie for this since I have a Mac, and you can see here I have several projects all ready to go that I was already working on, and all these are completed at the moment. So what I do is I pick one. So we're doing Castle Replace Skull because we're doing Stinkor. So I go ahead and open that one up, and then I just try to recycle as much as I can. So you'll see a lot of the, when I drag the mouse, you can see the video. So this is where I like to start off, is with this kind of stuff. So let's see, I find where the intro is, which is right here, and then I grab everything and get rid of it. So I've gotten rid of everything except for this this area here that's all black, because that's what I put for the beginning. And I'm just gonna find something to put in there for my folder. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the Castle Replace Skull folder, Stinkor, just get one photo in there, and then I just kind of stretch out the time on it. Okay, so now I have this picture is really long. It's about 49 seconds. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the audio that I did for Stinkor and drop it in. And this one I didn't edit the audio, so there's going to be some mistakes on there. So go ahead and take it, go to the very beginning of the audio, and then we chop it down, and then we'll see what I say in the beginning.
I always thought Stinker looked cool.
I feel like it sounds kind of flat.
I always thought Stinker looked cool. I didn't know anything about him, just that he looked like a skunk.
So I'm going to take that, and I'm actually going to make the bass. I'm going to give it a bass boost. Also raises the volume a bit, so I want to bring it down. Okay, and then I like to have the volume in the middle. so that way I know what it's gonna be like. Make sure it's
I
loud
always
enough.
thought Stinkor looked cool.
See, it's a little bit better there, but still a little loud. And you can see there's green, yellow, and then there's red on the bars. Red means that you're basically blowing out the speakers. Yellow, it's getting there, and then green means you're good. But sometimes I feel like you can't really hear anything if it's all green. But I'm not really a pro at sound, so yeah. So you don't have to take any of my advice when it comes to sound, because I'm not really a sound guy.
I always thought Stinkor looked cool. I didn't know anything about him, just that he looked like a skunk.
I think I'm going to use that picture that I have right there, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it right there at that line. Here's that picture. And then you can see that there is black right there. If we go to crop, it'll crop it down to the size that you need. So I put crop to fill, and there we go. So yeah, so it was right there. It was on fit before. There's crop to fill, so you can see it's going to cut a little bit off the top and the bottom. That's why I say when you take photos or whatever, you want to make sure you back up so you can fit the whole thing in. And you can even still go even closer. That's what I think I'm going to do. So there we go. That's the first part. That's how it was originally. And that's the new one.
I always thought Stinkor looked cool. I didn't know anything about him, just that he looked like a skunk. Later years,
I feel like that one needs to dissolve. I don't know, I just kind of listen to the cadence of how I'm saying things, and if it sounds like it needs, if it's just a quick cut, I just drop something in, but sometimes I'll feel like, hey, maybe that needs a dissolve or something. So I like to use dissolves, cross dissolve, which would be like this.
Later,
I like to use that for when I'm still talking about the same thing, but then if I'm gonna change the subject, I go to cross blur, so it looks like this.
he looked like a skunk. Later,
So I do use a cross blur for that, and then sometimes I use the fade to black. If I feel like it's just like, I don't know, like it's gonna go to something completely different. So
like a skunk.
So yeah, so I'll use fade to black for that kind of thing. And then of course there's other stuff on here, but I don't even use them, like spin in.
Like a skunk. Later year.
Like I don't really have a need for that, or like the mosaic. It's
skunk.
just
Later.
I don't need it for anything. So all right, so I'm gonna do that.
Like a skunk. Later years,
See, that's a mess up on the audio, so I'll just go to the audio, I'll cut it, and hopefully this next take was good.
In later years, I watched a few reviews, and all they said was that he had a smell to him.
Okay, so he had a smell to him. So, trying to think, maybe like a picture of a skunk or something. So I'm going to go ahead and open up, I'm going to go online and find a picture of like a skunk or something.
In later years, I watched a few reviews, and all they said was that he had a smell to him. In later years, I watched a few reviews, and all they said was that he had a smell to him. I always thought Stinkor looked cool. I didn't know anything about him, just that he looked like a skunk. In later years, I watched a few reviews, and all they said is that he had a smell to him. PowerCon 2018 came, and I finally picked up the skunk that I never had, but always liked. I always thought Stinkor looked cool. I didn't know anything about him, just that he looked like a skunk. In later years, I watched a few reviews, and all they said is that he had a smell to him. PowerCon 2018 came, and I finally picked up the skunk that I never had, but always liked. The first thing I did was smell him. Stinkor is an evil warrior in the Masters of the Universe.
And that's pretty much what I do. I just keep doing that sort of thing the whole time, and just, you know, cut down audio, make it fit with the images, and that's about it. So that's how I do all my editing. I do try to list as much stuff as I can whenever I can, so that's pretty good. I also try to use my photos, and I try not to use online pictures that are obvious, I guess you could say. Like, for example, I take photos from like Target or whatever, because they're selling something, so it's not really being used as photography, I guess you could say. It's not really like art. It's being used just to you know, to promote an item or whatever. So to get the point across, I would get something from there, or I'll get some kind of free images of like a cop or anything that I might need. So I try to get my stuff from those type of places, or like eBay. Since those photos only last so long, I'll just use like a picture from eBay or whatever. So now I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, so I could probably get in trouble for it, but I've also seen a lot of people that are, you know, big time users, you know, like AVGN and Nostalgia Critic, and they've used images like that lots of times. So I just kind of follow their lead whenever it comes to what I'm putting on my videos. So I hope that helped out, and we'll go on to the next step, which is going to be making the thumbnail. So that's going to be next. Okay, so now we're going to get to the thumbnail. So for the thumbnail, I use a website called Canva. So I don't have Photoshop at the moment, but once I do get it, then I'm going to start using it. But as you can see, I've been using it since the beginning, because if we go down, it does save, you can save all of your thumbnails or whatever it is that you create. So I use this to create my thumbnails. There's that Spider-Man Homeward Bound right here. So I do keep other stuff, not too many other things, but it's mainly just my thumbnails. So as we just keep going down, it just keeps getting older and older and older on all of these, it's kind of cool. I kind of like scrolling down and seeing everything. So I don't know, it's just my thing. So, oh man, that's an old one right there. This one is from Nano Metal Figs, people scalping them. But yeah, it's just, you know, I just make all my thumbnails on here. So what I like to do is, once I have created one thumbnail that I liked, I'll go ahead and make a copy of it. I like to recycle it just because it's just much faster. It's much faster to do these things. So since we're doing a Masters of the Universe, I see the Castle Grayskull right here. So I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of that. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and change the name of it to Stinkor. Alright, and then we go ahead and open up the file. Okay, so here's my file. This is the old thumbnail for Castle Grayskull, as you could see. Since I already have it designed, so this is what I have on this design element. So I have the photo right here. And then I have this square. I don't know if you could see that, but there's a square, and it's black, and all I did was I went over to the transparency and made it more transparent. And I did that mainly so that way the other letters pop, because as you'll see when I take it out, you can't really see. You can still kind of see Castle Grayskull, but not really. But when it's back on there, it's actually much nicer. There it goes. So you can see it. It's much better. So that's why I like to have this little transparent square or whatever. Then I got the Masters logo, of course, Castle Grayskull, and then the year. So we're going to go ahead and replace the photo. So I'm going to click on the photo and then press delete. And I already have the photo that I want to use picked out. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop it, and hopefully it's pretty clear. Actually, it looks like it's kind of blurry, so I'm not going to use this image. So I'm going to try looking for another one right now. Well, probably just like whatever's the next one. And hopefully that'll be clear. It's still a little bit blurry, but it is more clear. I'm going to try one more. That's it. And you want to have one that has space where you can actually put all the writing around. So, because if you don't, then yeah, then you're gonna be stuck, and you're gonna be trying to figure out where you're gonna put all the writing. All right, so these are the two that I have, and I don't know. I like this one because it has a lot of smoke on it, and then this one I kind of like this little Z pattern that it creates. But I think if anything, this has all these like little this movement right here of the smoke, and it makes it look more like, I guess, smell. This one is just more of a straight line, and I don't know, it doesn't really look like smell to me. So, alright. So then I'm going to go ahead and extend the image all the way to the edge. Alright, so you can see he's kind of in the middle. I kind of want him more on that side, so I'm going to go ahead and make it even bigger. And see if we can make them fit right. Alright, so there's the image, and it'll a lot of times it'll automatically get pushed to the back, so then this will get pushed forward. So then this will change right here to Stinkor. Okay, so now I'm going to take the image and I'm going to mess with it a little bit. So I'm going to go to adjustments, and then I'm going to make it a little bit brighter, see what that brings up, if anything. Alright, I'm going to bring up the contrast. I'm going to bring down the blur so it makes it much more crispy. And then the vignette, I always put it all the way up so it kind of has a little bit of dark on the sides. So that's with the vignette, and that's without it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It kind of makes it more dramatic. Okay, and then uploading should be pretty self-explanatory. You just grab your file and then you're going to upload it. Add your thumbnail to it, and just your description on your video. And then of course the tags. That's probably my least favorite part, is the tags. So so yeah, we're gonna have to do the tags as well. And that's how I make my videos. So I hope all of that was very helpful. Actually, while making this video, I ended up making changes to the calendar. So yeah, like I said before, with the calendar, I'm always changing things around. That's why I like to use the whiteboard. I had to change things around because I found out when the Power Rangers were being released, and I had to move some of that stuff around. So if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and ask me below. I'll answer them. I don't think I'm gonna do a follow-up video, just because, you know, it kind of took longer than I thought. I figured while I'm making the Stinkor video, I could just start recording and explaining what my process is, but it ended up being a little bit longer than I thought. So, oh well. I mean, it was still a lot of fun though. I never really thought about putting all of my thoughts into one video on how I make my videos. So I'm not a pro or anything. I have one of those homegrown channels, and I know a lot of you guys do, so maybe this will kind of help you make your channels maybe look a little bit better, or maybe give you some hints or whatever. Even though this is my technique now, this could change down the line. Better camera, better microphone,
all that kind of stuff, even maybe having something light. So we'll see how that goes. You can even see the comparison between my old videos where it was just the camera and hands behind the camera and not a lot of movement. It had some, but it didn't have a lot, up to the point where I'm at now, where, for example, with the core, I have little mini missions at the end of the video. So yeah, there's a lot of that, a lot of outdoor shots now instead of before where it was all just on the booth. Now the booth is really good because there's no distraction. It's just, here's what we're focusing on. But the outside shot just gives it a little bit extra flavor. And I think a lot of people really like that. So anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful, and we'll see you on the next video.